The next challenge we're going to talk about is matching and deduplicating contacts in institution. Matching is a little tricky. Some issues we see are where we've got an educator who is in a database a couple of times under a slight name or email variation. You'll see a Kathy and a Cassandra. Are those the same person? If so, then you've got a duplicate, but because you were just using the name for matching, it doesn't always work. We also see multiple people that are merged incorrectly because they have a common name or a generic email pattern. So say you've got a J Smith at district.com. After a few years, when the first J Smith has gone, we get a new J Smith. And then when you're working on merging records, all of it kind of gets lumped into one, despite the fact that you've got two different people. We see contacts that, they were originally associated with one institution and then they moved to a new one. They'll still be associated with that old school, which can cause some problems in reporting and just clarity whenever you're trying to call someone or send an email about where they actually work. We see a lot of times in people's databases where you've got multiple contact records for one person because they've got multiple active roles. Maybe they're the superintendent at a couple of different districts, say in a charter setup or something, or they are, a teacher at two different schools. We'll see one person have, a record for each of those. For most databases now and most CRMs and marketing systems, you can do a one-to-many relationship. So you can have one contact with a role at both institutions. We also see some institutions that are in with, multiple copies of the same institution that have the same name or confusing abbreviations and similar addresses. And generally, duplicates are they're hard. Education-aware duplicate rules are important because sometimes kind of the standard rules they send to you will falsely flag things as duplicates. Say the district and a school, they'll just say this is all the same thing. It's got the similar address. It's got a very similar name, but really those are, distinct institutions. And then sometimes they miss them entirely because of the way that there are so many abbreviations and variations in the data. Practical approaches for better matching include defining some matching rules. So you want to use combinations of multiple data points for contacts, things like email, their related institution, job title, location. More fields are generally better to drive confidence rather than relying on one field. The same goes for institutions. Only the email domain, as we talked about, is not going to work very well. So you're going to want to use multiple data points to help identify better matches. And always use fuzzy matching carefully. If there are high-risk merges or important targets, you want to be careful with those and have some type of manual review before you just hit the merge all button on your duplicate tool. We also want to establish deduplication policies. So set up some rules and then use those. If you need to update the rules, of course you should, but having a standard set of rules that you use every time will save time and keep you from reinventing the wheel. So some examples might be, keep the record that has CRM activity, has unique IDs, things like that, so that you know which record when you're merging is going to be the winner. And then we want to schedule regular times to do deduplication and assign an ownership of who's going to review any ambiguous matches.